Well, what's happening, good people of YouTube? So this is the kind of shit I do when I'm watching videos trying to catch up with people. I am sharpening my chainsaw. I gotta fucking take a tree down tomorrow in my backyard and gotta get this chain sharp. And I'm trying to be careful here because the last time I used a saw I got into some not poison ivy, what do they call it? Sumac, poison sumac. So this is an old ass saw. This is actually my father's saw. It's an old McCullough saw from the 1970s. But man, this motherfucker just kicks ass cutting. The only problem I've had with it, and I could probably fix that problem by getting a different bar. This is not the original bar on here, but this is as close as I can get to a chisel chain for this saw. So if you know anything about chainsaws, you know that's what you want. You want a chisel saw, chisel. That's what they. It's a chisel, chisel blade chain. So when I'm sharpening, I use a round file and I use a flat file just to get the edges, you know, real, just perfect the way I want them. So. But that's not really what this video is about. I just, you know, a lot of times when I'm catching up with all you guys, I'll put on your videos and shit and do something down here, whether I'm setting up a guitar or sharpening a chainsaw, whatever. And I know I haven't been doing my videos as good as I can. I've been missing my Friday videos, and that sucks. Somebody asked me the other night on a hangout, they said, how's your summer been? And to be honest with you, this summer has been really fucked up so far. I don't know I hope the camera's catching everything right. This summer's been fucked up. It started off really fucked up. Just had a bunch of shit going on back in late spring and like May. Had a ton of shit going on, and man, when you have a bunch of shit going on, you miss out on all the other stuff that you're supposed to be doing, and then it's like you feel like you're behind, you know. So I kind of feel like I'm behind on a lot of projects. Like this tree, I wanted to take this tree out back in the spring, and I just haven't gotten to it. Right now, I'm starting to finally feel organized. Got some side jobs going on that I'm doing. In the summertime, I a lot of times I take on side jobs for people. Whatever, you know, kind of like handyman work. I got a big deck that I'm staining, power washed and stained, and it's amazing to me because I try to be. I think one of the reasons people like me and ask me to come back is because my prices are reasonable, you know. I mean, the lady I'm doing this deck for, her neighbor just had the deck power washed and stained. They charged her $1,500, and it's a smaller deck. So I'm charging her like $400 to stain it. I already power washed it. I think I charged her like $150 to power wash it. But I think that's fair for that type of work, you know. And it's like I say, it's what I like doing in the summertime to make some extra money. And it's amazing to me how, especially older people, get fucked by handymen and shit like that. I mean, they just get. I did a bathroom maybe a year or so ago, and it always happens like this. I go to somebody's house, usually an older lady, a lot of times, or an older couple, and you know, I do one project and one project leads to another, and then I end up making really good money doing it and I enjoy it. So, you know, it works out always. But I was doing this lady's bathroom, not a big deal. I took a bunch of wallpaper down and painted, put a new vanity, new plumbing, new sink, mirror, all that kind of shit. And she had somebody else do shower for where it was like it was one of those drop-in showers, or they're basically plastic, and they drop it right in over your existing, and those aren't bad. But she had asked me, she said, what just out of curiosity, what would you charge me to put that in? And I said, well, you know, I mean, I don't know what the drop-in thing costs, but to install it, I told her I'd probably charge maybe about somewhere between $250 and $500. And the look on her face was terrible. And she said, I don't even want to tell you what I paid. And I said, well, what'd you pay for it? She goes, I don't even want to tell you. $6,500 the guy charged her. Now I know those drop-in things, the one she had was around $1,200 to buy it. So I would have charged her, like I said, maybe another $5. So I would have charged her about $1,700, you know, to install it and, you know, buy it and install it. And dude charged her $6,500. I mean, dude, when you take advantage of people like that, you don't get to bitch later on when there's fucking bad shit going on in your life. You know what I mean? I mean, I believe in karma, and I you know, look, I treat everybody the same. I mean, you look at my YouTube channel. If you go to the home channel, it's got that clip from. Oh man, I can't think of the name of the movie right now, but you guys know it. And you know, that's that clip where that drill sergeant says, "Look, you know, I don't look down upon anybody. You know, here you're all equally worthless. You know." So, and that's kind of how I've tried to keep my channel going. And I've made a lot of internet friends, a lot of cool people along the way. A lot of some shitty people, but I don't know. The shitty people don't seem to last, but the good people do. But anyway, yeah, what I'm getting at is that, you know, when you fuck people over and you take advantage of older people, you don't get to bitch later on when there's bad shit going on in your life and shit like that. So, yeah, that's how my summer has just been. You know, summer's always busy for me, but this summer in particular has just been ridiculously busy. I mean, it's one of those times when you're just overwhelmed, you know, because there's just so much shit going on. I mean, I haven't been able to fucking take the boat out where I didn't get out to fucking Lake Erie. You know, I'd like to still get out there. I'm actually going up there pretty soon, and I think I might pull the boat home just to go out for a fishing trip on the Great Lakes, you know. But man, I haven't gotten to do nothing as far as leisure time goes. I play my guitars and stuff like that. I have time for that, you know, at night, you know, whatever. But haven't had much time to just do what I want, you know. Other than, like I said, I took on a couple of side jobs, and I take them on because I enjoy them. It's not really because I, you know, need to or whatever. But anyhow. But yeah, I was watching, as you saw, I was watching Will's video, you know, traveling around Tucson. That was pretty interesting. And the stories that he was telling, and I can relate to a lot of that shit growing up. Although I didn't grow up, you know, Will apparently grew up really poor. And, you know, I was fortunate where I grew up in a middle class home, you know. My father did very well for himself, and you know, back in the 70s and 80s, it was a different time, man. I mean, you know, at that time, you know, it was very common for somebody to graduate from high school and get a job at the automotive companies, one of the automotive companies, and stay there for 30 years, you know. And a lot of people didn't even do that. I've got friends from that era who, you know, the auto companies, there's always some shit going on with the auto companies. One of my buddies, Jerry, he spent 18 years at General Motors, and General Motors was having some financial trouble or whatever, and they said, hey, look, you know, we want to buy you out, and we're willing to give you your full 30-year pension, as well as, I think they gave him his full 30 years, so he worked there 18 years. They gave him the rest of them, so he got his pension every month, and then I think they gave him like $30,000 cash. So, there was a lot of that going on. It was a different time, I mean, people, the middle class people didn't need a degree, you didn't need, if you had a high school diploma and you lived in Detroit, Michigan, or near Detroit, Michigan, I mean, that's what people did. They went right down to one of the auto companies and got hired on, and that was it, Now, my father, he worked for the phone companies he ended up, when he retired, he worked for Ameritech. And, but he started out with Western Electric, and, we're talking about in the 50s here. He was actually still in high school when he started that job. And he stayed basically at the same company. They changed names a few times, but basically he stayed with the same company for, I think, 42, 44 years, something like that, So it's a different time. It's a strange time right now, people are demanding that kids get a degree, and it's almost like they're in cahoots with the colleges, because it's like these kids, they get out of high school and then they go to college and they end up with so much fucking debt. It's insane. I mean, it's just the fucking colleges these days have become a fucking racket, I mean, it's unbelievable what it costs for a higher education, and that sucks. And here in Michigan, our heavy industry is not what it used to be. I mean, we used to have steel mills, but basically the automotive companies. They built everything. They made the steel, built the cars. Everything was built there. Manufacturing, all the way from Detroit to Flint, Michigan. And sometime Google Flint, Michigan, or just search Flint, Michigan on YouTube, and you'll find out what happened. I tore down all of those, pretty much just about every one of those auto plants in Flint, Michigan. I was a part of, in one way or another, tearing them down. When I got into the demolition business, it was exactly at the time right after NAFTA passed, and man, the automotive companies just took off, man. And what happened with Flint is, basically General Motors wanted some tax breaks from the city of Flint, and the city of Flint said no, and General Motors said, well, we'll fucking leave. And the city laughed at them, like, yeah, right, where are you going to go? You guys have fucking 30 automotive plants, around this area. They fucking left, man. They're gone. The last one, big one that I tore down was 5.5 million square feet, and that was at the AC Delco spark plug. They made mostly spark plugs at that plant. That was a big job. That's the if you go back and look at my videos from the past, you'll see I've got some videos of buildings that I took down, but in particular there's a big powerhouse and a water tower, and that was at the AC Delco plant. I set those buildings up myself with a torch. So anyhow, I just kind of wanted to check in with you guys, see what's going on, because it seems like I don't communicate with anybody anymore. In these last few months, it's like, God, man, I feel so out of touch with everybody. And it kind of sucks, because, but then you think about it and they're like, well, you're like, they're not calling me either, but there's some phone calls I need to make. I actually did get in touch with one of the other YouTubers here, and I got to give him a call back too. So what's up with President Trump and Vladimir Putin, right? This is such a fucking joke. Look, I watched that press conference before the evening news came out. I watched that press conference here on YouTube, the whole entire thing all the way through. And by the time the evening news came on, they had edited it and chopped it up and made it look like fucking Trump, man, he's in cahoots with Russia. He wants to fucking turn the United States into a communist nation. It was so fucking stupid. As a matter of fact, I actually queued it up because I want you guys to hear what he had to say. And yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing this in the style of myself and the one and only Elmo B. I'm just going to show you on the screen. What did I marked 23 minutes. So let's just check out what President Trump had to say at 23 minutes here.
Do you hold Russia at all accountable for anything in particular? And if so, what would you consider them that they are responsible for?
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish. We should have had this dialogue a long time ago, a long time, frankly, before I got to office. And I think we're all to blame. I think that the United States now has stepped forward along with Russia, and we're getting together, and we have a chance to do some great things, whether it's nuclear proliferation in terms of stopping. We have to do it. Ultimately, that's probably the most important thing that we can be working on. But I do feel that we...
So as you see, they're talking peace here, you know, and then I marked out 25 minutes, so let's see what happened here.
As well, why should Americans and why should President Trump believe your statement that Russia did not intervene in the 2016 election, given the evidence that U.S. intelligence agencies have provided? And will you consider extraditing the 12 Russian officials that were indicted last week by a U.S. grand jury?
Well, I'm going to let the president answer the second part of that question. But as you know, the whole concept of that came up perhaps a little bit before, but it came out as a reason why the Democrats lost an election, which frankly, they should have been able to win, because the Electoral College is much more advantageous for Democrats, as you know, than it is to Republicans. We won the Electoral College by a lot, 306 to 223, I believe. And
all right, so that's another thing they chopped up and made it look like he said something that he didn't. And I marked 3904, and I think this is kind of when some shit went down where people are questioning Trump.
Question for each president. President Trump, please, you first. Just now, President Putin denied having anything to do with the election interference in 2016. Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
so let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Why haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? I've been wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out and calling it out on social media. Where is the server? I want to know, where is the server, and what is the server saying? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin.
So this is the part they chopped up in the media.
He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server. But I have confidence in both parties. I really believe that this will probably go on for a while, but I don't think it can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What happened to the servers of the Pakistani gentlemen that worked on the DNC? Where are those servers? They're missing. Where are they?
So you guys can watch this for yourself. I'll even put a link in the description for you. You know, I really think that if you're interested in what's going on with President Trump, and you're interested in this Helsinki meeting with Vladimir Putin, that, you know, watch the press conference for yourself. You know, I think what it really fucking boils down to, and listen, I'm not a fucking huge fan of President Trump. You know, I don't know. It's there's a lot of fear that comes along with President Trump. You know, you worry about the economy crashing. You know, we're due for a stock market correction anyway. You know, we had a small one not long ago, but, you know, it wasn't really what. And hopefully that's all it's going to be. But, you know, what I'm saying is there's a lot that goes along with President Trump. And I'm not saying he's right. But what I am saying is that, you know what I think it boils down to is people don't like him because he talks to, you know, everybody just like you and I talk to everybody. You know, I mean, if you watch, I just watched something where he was pardoning some boxer and Sylvester Stallone was there. You know, it was just a bunch of guys hanging out. I like that transparency in a president. You know, I don't want to fucking, you know, as elegantly as President Obama spoke, it was like a big cover for bullshit. You know, this guy, he can't speak like as elegantly as President Obama did. He speaks like a regular guy, and I think that's why, you know, a lot of people don't like him. But I like that, you know, and I'm not saying he's right for our country, but you know, I don't really have a lot of complaints. You know, yeah, of course, the presidents are going to do a lot of things you don't like and everything, but you know, he hasn't done any of the things that everybody was worried about. You know, that everybody was worried. Oh, he's gonna ban abortions and he's gonna fucking turn around the gay marriage stuff, and none of that happened. And now they have nothing. You know, they just have nothing but a bunch of bitching. This is why I don't watch the evening news. Now, I caught it the other day, but I don't watch mainstream media. I find out the information for myself from other sources, credible sources, and then I make my own decision as to how I feel about it. You watch fucking ABC News at night, I mean, you'll go crazy. It's no wonder they fucking advertise a bunch of fucking antidepressants and shit in between, you know, so... Anyway, guys, this is my video. I know it's not much, but I wanted to give you something. I'm going to try to give you a Friday video, and that's what I got for today. I got to finish sharpening up my chainsaw, and tomorrow I'm going to take down a tree. Maybe I'll do a video of that. And we got coming soon is a full review of my former doctor, so that should be fun. See you guys in a bit.